Stop. Not pause the video. Pause your momentum. Because something just happened that you can't fully explain. Your attention landed here. Not drifted. Not wandered. Landed. And if you're honest, there's a subtle pressure in your chest, like a door you didn't know existed just clicked open. This is how thresholds announce themselves. Quietly. Precisely. Without fireworks. You didn't find this message. In the language of myth, this message found you the way a key finds the lock it was forged for. And no, I'm not going to wrap this in vague spiritual fog. This isn't about being special. It's about being ready. Ready means your life has produced a certain shape in you, a kind of internal architecture, a capacity to hold something true without needing a crowd to agree. So before we go further, do one thing. Take a slower breath than normal. Not for relaxation, just to signal one simple truth. I'm here. I'm listening. Because if this video is a mirror, you're not meant to stare at it mindlessly. You're meant to recognize yourself in it. Let's name the symbol. Sophia. In ancient stories, she appears as wisdom, sometimes fallen, sometimes redeemed, sometimes hidden inside the structure of reality like a secret that refuses to stay buried. But in this video, treat Sophia as a living metaphor, the part of intelligence that moves beneath surface noise, the principle that doesn't argue, doesn't persuade, doesn't beg. It simply signals. Sophia is not a deity you worship here, not a character you obey, not a guru energy you chase. Sophia is a pattern of awakening that shows up when a person has crossed enough inner terrain to stop pretending. And here's the uncomfortable part. Sophia doesn't respond to what people say they want. Sophia responds to what a person has become capable of holding. That's why two people can hear the same words, and one feels nothing, while the other feels a strange stillness, like the air in the room got heavier with meaning. If this is resonating, it's not because you're better. It's because your inner world has reached a point where metaphor starts behaving like instruction. Most people live from the neck up. They think first. They doubt first. They explain first. But your life, whether you notice it or not, has been training you to recognize something else, the signal before the thought. It's the moment you feel truth in your body before you can justify it. That's why this message may feel oddly personal, even though it's not addressing your name, your city, your biography. Because it's not speaking to your resume. It's speaking to the part of you that has survived quietly. The part that kept choosing growth when comfort would have been easier. The part that didn't always win, didn't always understand, but kept moving anyway. And if you're thinking, okay, but what does any of this actually mean? Good. That question is proof you're not here for fantasy. You're here for something practical, something anchored. So let's translate the myth into a system. In this story, Sophia scans for 3 markers. Not moral purity, not perfection, not a spiritual aesthetic. 3 functional markers. Marker 1, frequency, your baseline. Not vibes, not mood. Baseline frequency means your inner state has a floor it returns to. You still get shaken. You still feel fear. But you don't completely collapse into chaos the way you used to. You recover faster. You reflect sooner. You can witness yourself mid-reaction and think, wait, this isn't who I want to be. That capacity is rare. Not because people are bad, but because most people were never taught how to hold discomfort without becoming it. Marker 2, resolution. You've already transmuted something. Resolution doesn't mean life was kind to you. It means you've metabolized a portion of what hurt you. You've taken at least one disappointment and turned it into insight instead of turning it into bitterness. You still remember, but you're not ruled by it. Marker 3, retention, you can hold the upgrade. This is the most important one. Many people touch inspiration for one night and lose it by morning. They have an awakening. Then life distracts them and everything fades. Retention means when you receive clarity, you can keep it long enough to build with it. You don't just feel it. You integrate it. In the myth, Sophia responds most strongly to that 3rd marker. Because a transmission without retention is just entertainment. And you didn't come here for entertainment alone. If you're here with genuine resonance, it's likely you've already passed 3 tests, without realizing they were tests. The solitude test. The season where you felt misunderstood. Where your intensity didn't fit. Where you stopped trying to explain yourself to people who weren't equipped to understand you. Not because you became arrogant, but because you got tired of shrinking your truth to keep the peace. The disillusionment test. The season where your illusions about life got dismantled. You realize the world is loud, people perform, systems reward surfaces. And you faced the dangerous fork. Cynicism or clarity. If you're here, you chose clarity. You saw the game without letting it poison your heart. The silent alchemy test. The season where you transform something painful without applause. No audience. No validation. Just you and the decision to become real. This test is what builds the inner spine. And that inner spine is what makes a person compatible with the Sophia symbol. Now we talk about timing. Have you noticed how certain messages only hit when you're in a specific inner season? Same book, different year, completely different meaning. Same sentence, suddenly feels like it was written for you. In this story, you are inside a window. Not a magical deadline. A psychological reality. When you're ready, change is efficient. When you delay, change becomes expensive. This is what old traditions called rhythm. The rise and fall of energy, the opening and closing of inner doors. You can ignore a door when it opens, but the next time you try to force it, you'll need more effort, more suffering, more repetition. So if you feel urgency here, don't turn it into panic. Turn it into precision. In this channel's mythology, there's a phrase, emerald frequency. Treat it as a symbol for coherence. Emerald is the color of the heart in many artistic systems. Not romance, but alignment. Alignment means your inner truth and your outer choices are no longer enemies. When the emerald symbol activates, what it really means is, you stop abandoning yourself. You stop negotiating your integrity. You stop living like you have infinite time. You begin to live like your attention is sacred currency, and you spend it accordingly. Now the popular part, the signs. But we're going to do this responsibly and intelligently. Not as proof you're chosen, but as reflection prompts, ways to notice shifts in your inner life. Sign 1. Your attention gets sharper. You catch yourself reaching for distractions and think, why am I doing this? Your mind becomes less tolerant of noise. Not because you're better, because you're hungry for what's real. Sign 2. Your old identities feel too small. The mask you used to wear feels itchy. You can still perform if you must, but it drains you. You want your life to match your inner truth. Sign 3. You start noticing patterns. Not magical thinking, pattern literacy. You notice repeated lessons, repeated relationship dynamics, repeated choices that lead to the same pain. And you realize, the pattern isn't punishing you, it's teaching you. Sign 4. You feel a strange pull toward depth. You want fewer shallow conversations. You crave meaning, craft, discipline, clean intent. You become allergic to pretending. Sign 5. You experience inner yes and inner no. A decision appears and your body responds instantly. Some choices feel expansive. Others feel tight. Not fear tight, dishonesty tight. This becomes your compass. Sign 6. You stop needing constant validation. You still appreciate support, but you no longer require applause to continue. You can build in silence. Sign 7. You feel the edge of change. This is the one people misinterpret. It can feel disorienting, like, I can't go back, but I'm not fully forward yet. That's not you losing your mind. That's the old self dissolving before the new one stabilizes. And the correct response isn't panic. It's grounding, breath, simple action, consistency. In the myth, there's a 72-hour window. Use it like this. When you feel a real inner call, you have roughly 3 days where motivation is naturally higher and resistance is naturally lower. If you act inside that window, you build momentum. If you delay, your mind invents 1,000 reasons to stay the same. So here is the 72-hour practice. Pick one action that proves you're serious. Not huge, not dramatic, concrete. Examples. Write 1 page of truth in a journal. Clean your environment. Remove 1 distraction. Start 1 habit that you've been postponing. Make 1 honest decision you keep avoiding. This isn't about spirituality. It's about sovereignty. Now the heart of the video. The protocol. Not because 21 is magical, but because repetition rewires you. Phase 1, days 1 to 7 perception. Your job is not to figure everything out. Your job is to notice. Daily. Write down 3 moments that felt meaningful. Identify one pattern you're ready to break. Do 5 minutes of stillness, no phone, no music. Phase 2, days 8 to 14, the void. This is where the old habits fight back. You may feel bored, restless, irritated. That's not failure. That's withdrawal from noise. Daily, choose one discomfort and stay present with it for 90 seconds. Do one courageous thing you normally avoid. Reduce one input that drains you. Doom scroll, drama, pointless debates. Phase 3, days 15 to 21, crystallization. This is where you build the new identity through action. Daily, pick one value: integrity, discipline, compassion, focus. Do one behavior that proves it. End the day by naming what you did right, not ego pattern reinforcement. This is how Sophia becomes real in your life. Not as an idea, as a lived rhythm. Now I'm going to say something sharp because it matters. The mind loves to delay transformation by demanding perfect certainty. I need proof. I need a sign. I need to be ready. But you're not built to become ready by thinking. You become ready by moving. In the myth, the door doesn't open because you understand everything. It opens because you commit. And commitment is not a feeling. It's a behavior repeated when the feeling disappears. When you stay consistent, several things happen. Your life gets simpler. Your boundaries get cleaner. Your relationships reorganize. Your standards rise. Your distractions lose power. Some people will feel drawn to you. Others will feel uncomfortable. Not because you're superior, but because your presence becomes a mirror. A mirror threatens masks. So let people respond however they respond. Your job is not to manage their reactions. Your job is to stay true. So here's the ending, simple and direct. If this message resonated, treat it like a threshold marker. Not as proof of cosmic status, as proof of inner readiness. And readiness means you don't need more information. You need one sincere action. Right now, choose one. Write one sentence that feels like truth. Remove one distraction you hide inside. Start one habit you keep postponing. Do it today. Not because the universe will punish you if you don't, but because every time you delay your own life, you teach your nervous system a quiet lie. That my future can wait. And it can't. Not forever. So take a breath. Feel your feet. Return to the body. And step forward in the smallest, most honest way. That's the Sophia path in this story. Not worship, embodiment. Welcome to the threshold.